Hey there guys, and welcome back. We are finally here doing another video. This is the first video in our new house. We finally got moved. I'll maybe make a video soon explaining what on earth went on there and why it has been months. And you'll get to see the house soon once we get it all tidied up. But for today, we are here with some Magic Modern Horizons. Now, if you've watched any of our stuff in the past, you'll know that with special sets, like the Masters reprint sets, I normally get Laura to open a box. So I'm going to do that again here, even though this isn't as much of a reprint set. Say hello, Laura.
Hello, Laura.
Alright. You're an idiot. Right. You want to start opening that? We'll take some packs out.
Okay.
I'll go through the set a little bit. So this is a special set for Magic, and it's a set that is a lot of new cards with a few reprints, but it is going directly into Modern. So the cards are not going to be standard legal, but they're not all reprints. And the only reprints that are in here are cards that were only previously legal in Legacy. They will be entering into Modern for the first time. Right, get this open. We're going to start taking some of the packs out and we'll start going through. There are 36 packs in these boxes, unlike the Master sets, which only had 24. So get a bit more of a chance to see more of the set. Alright, put that there. That's the inside of the
Very cool.
the wrapper. So what we're looking for in this set, interestingly, if you look at the top 10 most expensive pre-ordered cards, only 4 of them are mythics. You can start opening a first pack, Laura. The others are rares. Interestingly, it's once you get to the top 25 most expensive, 14 of the 15 mythics are in there. But it's interesting that, you know, a lot of the rares are high value. So what you saw there is there was also a foil token in there. 1 in 4 packs is going to have a foil token instead of a regular token. Also, some of the tokens are double-sided, some aren't. It's really weird. I haven't yet seen a foil one that's been double-sided, but I've heard that they're out there. Then what we're seeing here is this is an art card. This is something new they've added just for this set. It's just a card of... It shows like the full art of a card that's in the set. And if you look on the back, it will tell you which card it is. That's Ranger Captain Nevios. It's number 11 out of 54, so there's 54 art cards in this series. And then the next thing you're going to see, these packs are actually backwards. They're like the Battle Bond ones were. So the commons are at the back, then the uncommons a bit closer at the front, and then the rare and the land at the front. Every pack in the set is going to have a full art snow-covered basic. These are actually the only cards in the set that were already previously in Modern, but they haven't been full art before, and they just kind of needed a reprint. Alright, so Laura, move on to the first rare. Let's see what we get. Oh, well, that's foil.
Hooray.
Alright.
We have a Spiteful Sliver. He's 2 in a red, a Sliver creature. He's a 2/2. He gives Sliver creatures you control, whenever this creature is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target player or planeswalker. Seems real good for a Sliver deck.
Yeah, I mean, all the slivers are
good for Sliver deck.
well, yeah. All slivers have the effect that they give all slivers you control something.
Yeah.
With the first printing of slivers years ago, it just gave all slivers that, not all slivers you control. So in a sliver mirror match, things got really confusing. But they changed that up when they reprinted it.
Foily Bird. And
that is Urza, I believe. Yeah. We probably don't need to spend too much time looking at the art cards.
okay. Next rare is an Astral Drift. 2 in a white enchantment. Whenever you cycle Astral Drift or cycle another card while Astral Drift is on the battlefield, you may exile target creature. If you do, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. And it has cycling.
So it's based on an older card called Astral Slide, which was 2 in a white for an enchantment. It didn't have cycling itself, but it was whenever anyone cycled a card, you could do that. There isn't really a cycling deck in this set too much to draft, which is a little disappointing. There's just not enough really there to actually get the full deck going.
Crashing Footfalls, sorcery. It's got suspend 4
For a
for a green. And once it's in play, it creates 2 4/4 green rhino creature tokens with trample. I don't like it.
So it's another suspend card that you can't cast regularly. It doesn't have a normal mana cost. So the only way to cast it is either to suspend it or find some way of casting it without paying the mana cost. So what we're looking for in terms of rares and mythics, the most expensive mythic in the set is Urza. He's pre-ordered for about $50 now. The first Sliver is another very expensive mythic. Renin 6 is the name, something like that, is the Planeswalker. In terms of rares, there's our first mythic. You read that and then we'll talk about some rares.
Alright. Sword of Sinew and Steel. For 3, it's an artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has protection from black and red. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, destroy up to 1 target planeswalker and up to 1 target artifact. Its equip cost is 2. I like that.
Yeah. The swords in the set are very disappointing compared to the original cycle of swords.
Well,
but they said that they were never going to be that powerful.
Yeah.
So yeah, the rares we're looking for, Force of Negation is actually the second most expensive card in the set, pre-ordering, and it's at rare. Hogarth, I think is how you pronounce his name, is pre-ordering very highly at rare. And any of the 6 lands are doing well. The 6 lands that are at rare, we have a half of a cycle and then a sort of fetch land.
And then we have a Cordial Vampire. It costs 2 black for a 1/1 vampire creature. Whenever Cordial Vampire or another creature dies, put a +1/+1 on each vampire you control.
And there aren't really any, there aren't many uncommons or anything that are really standing out in this set. I think the only uncommon that's pre-ordering for any real value is Scale Up, which is the one for a single green, turns a creature into a 6/4 worm, or you can overload it for 6 mana. But it's just pre-ordering for a lot due to how you played an Infect.
We have a Collector Oof.
Oofy, I don't know.
For 1 and a green, it's a 2/2 creature Oof.
Oof.
Activated abilities of artifacts can't be activated.
And people don't like his art.
He's a little creepy.
The main complaint is that he looks super Jewish.
Oh.
He is very negative Jewish stereotypes all on one card.
Oh. Well.
You know, like the goblins from Harry Potter? Those were really racist too.
What?
Never mind. There goes Snow-Covered Island. Ooh, and there's Force of Negation. Nice.
Awesome. 1 and 2 blue, for an instant. If it's not your turn, you may exile a blue card from your hand rather than pay this spell's mana cost. Counter target non-creature spell. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard. That seems pretty good.
There's a full cycle of forces, which is the if it's not your turn, you can exile a card of a matching colour. The blue one is great. The green one is very good. I think the black one is okay. The red one is rubbish. I don't remember what the white one does. That's cool. Ooh, foil snow covered.
That's pretty.
There's some money.
Alright, we have Genesis. 4 and a green for a creature incarnation. It's a 4/4. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Genesis is in your graveyard, you may pay 2 and a green. If you do, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand.
He's a reprint. He's one of the ones that was only in Legacy for a while. I don't think people are very excited about it in Modern. I don't think he can be expected to do much.
Okay.
There wasn't very many cards within the set that were reprints. I think it was only about 40 of them out of the 270 or whatever there are. Oh, there's the White Force.
Force of Virtue. 2 and 2 white. If it's not your turn, you may exile a card from your hand rather than pay the spell's mana cost. I forgot the word white there. Its got flash, and creatures you control get +1/+1.
And it's an enchantment. It's quite relevant.
Oh yeah, I suppose it is. Minor details.
Yeah. We should mention all the buy a box promo for this set was Flusterstorm, which was one of the reprints, and it comes in non-foil, which was really nice because I hated the foil buy a box promos. That's really cool.
Pretty.
It's a very nice sword.
We have Sarah the Benevolent. For 2 and 2 white, legendary planeswalker Sarah. It comes in with 4 loyalty, and I can't read that text, it's too small.
Really? You're that blind?
Yeah.
So +2 creatures you control with flying get +1/+1 until end of turn. -3 create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying and vigilance, so basically make a Sarah angel. And -6 you get an emblem with if you control a creature, damage that would reduce your life total to less than 1, it reduces it to 1 instead.
I like that.
So you get an emblem which is the card Worship.
That's very cool.
So people have talked about it, but I think the general consensus is if you want Worship, just play Worship.
Foily Spoiler.
Yeah. Art.
We have the Black Force, Force of Despair. 1 and 2 black for an instant. If it's not your turn, you may exile a black card from your hand rather than pay its mana cost. Destroy all creatures that entered the battlefield this turn. Gross.
Yeah. I did mention that in the top 25 most expensive cards in the set, there were only 14 of the 15 mythics. The one that isn't in there is Kess, which is also the only mythic that's a reprint. However, it's good that it got a reprint because it was one of the cards which was a commander in the commander decks that never had a non-foil printing. So it was one of those cards that you could proxy at the start of... what are those? You could proxy at the start of tournaments.
We got one of the rare lands, a Nurturing Peat land. You can tap it to pay 1 life and add black or green. And 1 and tap it, sacrifice it, and draw a card.
So this was actually based on a land that was in Future Sight. Future Sight was a set where they had a lot of future shifted cards, which were cards that they might do something with in the future. So they had loads of mechanics that they'd never used before. And they did a half cycle of lands where each of the lands did a different thing. And one of them was Horizon Canopy, which was a green-white land which did that, basically. Paying you if you tapped it for mana, or you could pay 1, tap, and sack it to draw a card. And then in this set... Oh good, there's the terrible mythic. In this set they then did the enemy cycle of the Horizon Canopy lands. So it's kind of a weird cycle now because we now have 6 of the 10 as a cycle, which is kind of odd. The only other ones they've done before is they did Graven Cairns was the filter land. They did that as a full cycle. But now they've just done the enemy cycle, and it would have been less weird, I think, if they had done the allied cycle, so that at least it was just the 5 and it was half a cycle. But I don't know, they may have just not liked the colour combinations, I think was part of it. Anyway, read Kess, I'll stop rambling.
Thank you. We have Kess, Dissident Mage. For 1, a blue, a black, and a red. He's a 3/4 legendary creature, human wizard.
She, I think.
She?
I think so.
Okay. Again, can't see. Flying. During each of your turns, you may cast an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard. If a card cast this way would be put into your graveyard, exile it instead.
Thoughts?
Meh.
I think there are quite a few cards in the set where they're still better in Legacy than they are in Modern.
A lot of really good art cards.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Foily rare.
that's excellent. We have a foil Future Sight for 2 and 3 blue, an enchantment. Play with the top card of your library revealed. You may play the top card of your library. Interesting.
I think the general conception of that one is just play Experimental Frenzy.
And then we got another rare land, a Fiery Islet. It is lit?
It is lit. Ah.
Again, tap it to pay 1 life and add, in this case, blue or red. And then 1 tap, sacrifice it to draw a card.
For the elemental.
Nope, that's upside down.
No,
No.
he's a ninja. You had it right.
He is a ninja, I see now.
So there's a lot of ninjas in it. Ninjas are cool.
We have a collected conjuring. For 2, a blue and a red, it's a sorcery. Exile the top 6 cards of your library. You may cast up to 2 sorcery cards with converted mana cost 3 or less from among them without paying their mana costs. Put the exiled cards not cast this way on the bottom of your library in a random order.
It's like Collected Company, but for sorceries.
That's fun.
I think people would have been. It would have been a lot better if it did instants as well. I don't think people are too excited about it that it only does sorceries, but I think it would have been way too good if it did instants as well.
Yeah.
Little bird. Alright.
Excellent.
Doing pretty good.
We have a silent clearing. Pay 1 life to add white or black. 1, tap it, sacrifice it, and draw a card.
Yeah. I think the most expensive of that cycle is the blue-red one, which we already got. But the other land, the rare land that isn't part of that cycle, is I think a little more expensive. It's a rare land that is a fetch land for basics. So you tap sack it and you get a basic of any type and put it on the battlefield. And you pay a life.
Rare.
Yeah, ninja.
A fallen shinobi. 3, a blue and a black for a zombie ninja. It's a 5/4. It has ninjutsu for 2, a blue and a black. Do I need to read the reminder text for that?
Can you?
Return.
Basically, if you have an attacker that's unblocked, you can return it. You can pay the ninjutsu cost, return that attack to your hand, and then put the ninja in instead.
Sneaky.
Yeah.
And whenever it deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles the top 2 cards of their library. Until end of turn, you may play those cards without paying their mana cost. Cool.
Yeah. Most of the ninjas with ninjutsu will then have some sort of effect whenever they hit a player.
Yeah. Because they're gonna.
Yeah.
There's that sword again.
Archive the other sword. No, that's the archive the other sword.
Oh.
But that is the sword that we got.
We have a plain-bound accomplice, 2 and a red, for a human wizard. He's a 1/3. He has, for a red, you may put a planeswalker card from your hand onto the battlefield. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step.
There are infinite combos with him.
Oh.
They're not reliable.
Okay.
They require having like 3 different planeswalkers in your hand.
Oh.
But they're always get like infinite mana and then deal infinite damage or something with it. That's very cool.
We have Reap the Past. X, red, and green for a sorcery. Return X cards at random from your graveyard to your hand. Exile Reap the Past. It's kind of interesting.
Because it returns at random.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Halfway through the box, what do you think so far?
We haven't done too bad. So we've got 3 mythics. None of them were pretty good, like the really expensive mythics, and we got Kess. But then we got, I think we're 3 of the rare lands now, and the Force of Negation, which is obviously great. Oh,
And a Force of Vigor.
yeah, we have the 4 best ones because we haven't got the red one yet.
For 2 and 2 green, it's an instant. If it's not your turn, you can exile a green card rather than pay the mana cost. destroy up to 2 target artifacts and or enchantments.
It's very good against like Blood Moon. So if you're playing a deck with no basics and stuff in it, Blood Moon is normally just a lockout, but if you've got that, it's a way for getting out from under the Blood Moon.
Rah!
That's well. Ooh.
And a Waterlogged Grove. Tap it, pay 1 life, add green or blue, 1 and tap, sacrifice it to draw a card.
Alright, so we're at 4 of the different lands there from the box.
That's pretty good.
That is very good. It's only the red-white one that we haven't seen yet.
And we got a foil snow-covered land.
We did with a foil snow-covered basic, which is good. It wasn't an island, but it was still a foil snow-covered basic.
Ninja. Endling. 2 and 2 black. Creature zombie shapeshifter. It's a 3/3. For a black, it gets menace until end of turn. Or for a black, it gets death touch until end of turn. Or for a black, it gains undying until end of turn. And then for 1, it gets +1/-1 or -1/+1 until end of turn.
So Endling finishes a cycle that started like over 20 years ago.
Wow.
With a card called Morphling, which is basically it was a blue card, I think, for 4, and it had 3 abilities that you could activate for a single blue, and then the +1/-1 or -1/+1 ability, and then they did them in red and green a few years later, and then there was like an 8-year gap before they then did the white one in Battle Bond, like about a year ago, I think it was, and then they finally done the black one.
We have Merit Lodge's Slumber, 1 and a blue for a legendary snow enchantment. Whenever Merit Lodge's Slumber or another snow permanent enters the battlefield under your control, scry 1. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 10 or more snow permanents, sacrifice Merit Lodge's Slumber. If you do, create Merit Lodge, a legendary 20/20 black avatar creature token with flying and indestructible.
So you can make Merit Lodge in Modern again, since they banned Dark Depths.
Hooray!
I really like the flavor on that card, the fact that they just showing the Merit Lodge story from like another perspective. Hey, it's Future Sight.
Yay, I already read that.
Yeah, it was foil last time. Should start another pile with this back, because that pile is going to fall over. The people who are watching this can't see that, but Laura has just been stacking these all higgledy-piggledy in a pile, and they she's playing with fire, and one of my cards are about to all tumble onto the floor.
Higgledy-piggledy.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah, that is a very playable mythic from the set.
Unsettled Mariner. Blue-white creature shapeshifter for it's a 2/2. Changeling, so it's every creature type. Whenever you or a permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, counter that spell or ability unless its controller pays 1.
It's going to see some play, because it's a human.
Well, it's everything.
Yeah. But most important for the human synergy decks.
That's a mythic.
Yeah.
Unbound Flourishing. 2 and a green enchantment. Whenever you cast a permanent spell with a mana cost that contains X, double the value of X. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell or activate an ability, if that spell's mana cost or that ability's activation cost contains X, copy that spell or ability. You may choose new targets for the copy. That's neat.
You really have to be trying to do something special with that, though. But as someone pointed out, someone opened that in draft the other day and said, I don't think there is anything in the set that has X in it.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, there's that return the stuff from the graveyard at random.
And there's
Did we see something else? Another
I
rare?
think it does like X damage. Rats. The rats.
Oh,
have
the
X.
crypt rats, yeah. Double crypt rat.
Oh, that's a fun. You have a plague engineer, 2 and a black. For a creature carrier, a 2/2 death toucher. When it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creatures of the chosen type your opponents control get -1/-1.
It's a pretty cool card.
That's interesting.
There's a lot of cards in the set that are kind of based on older cards, like I think Engineered Plague is the name of the... There was an enchantment printed a while back, which is in Legacy, where you basically have that effect.
We have Ayula, Queen Among Bears. 1 and a green. It's a legendary creature bear. It's a 2/2. Whenever another bear enters the battlefield under your control, choose 1. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on target bear, or target bear you control fights target creature you don't control. I love her.
Commander players finally got their legendary bear.
I love her.
So I mean, I think outside of valuable foils, you want to see the uncommon dragon in foil, or that bear in foil,
Absolutely.
or any bear in foil.
Any bear in foil. That's interesting.
He's a really weird mythic, but he's really cool. Boom! There it
There's
is.
a Lord High Artificer. 2 and 2 blue. Is that a 1/4?
He is a 1/4.
He's a legendary creature, human artificer. When he enters the battlefield, create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token with this creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. You can tap an untapped artifact you control to add blue. And for, is that 5?
Yeah.
Shuffle your library, then exile the top card. Until end of turn, you may play that card without paying its mana cost.
Alright. We got Urza. It's all downhill from here.
That's fine.
Actually, yeah, foil Urza.
I don't think that's how this works.
Well, I mean, but you still could. Like, there's no reason you couldn't.
But we just won't.
Yeah, probably not.
We're on thin ice.
Oh no.
It's a white snow enchantment aura. Enchant snowland you control. When on thin ice enters the battlefield, exile target creature an opponent controls until it leaves the battlefield.
So it's chained to the rocks, but for snow permanent
Yeah.
rather than mountain. You say yeah, like you knew what chained to the rocks.
I've seen that card before. What the heck? Is that planes?
What?
No, that's swords.
It's War of 1,000 Cuts or something like that.
We have a Tectonic Reformation, 1 and a red enchantment. Each land in your hand has cycling red. Interesting.
And it cycles itself for 2.
That makes
You
sense.
missed that. So it's just a way to late game get rid of your lands.
I don't play enough lands for that ever.
That's true enough.
Whoa. We have Mirrodin Besieged, 2 and a blue enchantment. As it enters the battlefield, choose...
Mirren or Phyrexian.
Thank you. Mirren, whenever you cast an artifact spell, create a 1/1 colorless Myr artifact creature token.
Yeah.
Myr?
I think so.
Phyrexian, at the beginning of your end step, draw a card, then discard a card. Then if there are 15 or more artifact cards in your graveyard, target opponent loses the game. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, and it's I think it's a really cool cut flavor-wise. It's based on this mechanic from the Sieges from Khan's block, but Mirrodin Besiege was the name of a set, which represented the war between the Mirrans and the Phyrexians. This one was that.
We have a Nether Spirit, 1 and 2 black for a creature spirit. It's a 2/2. At the beginning of your upkeep, if it's the only creature card in your graveyard, you may return it to the battlefield. That's fun.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that one's a reprint. It's interesting. I don't know what people are going to do with it, if anything. It's interesting. It seems like there's a lot of stuff they could have reprinted that they held back on, so I'm guessing that there are plans to do this again if it goes well.
You have a lightning skelemental.
Yeah.
Black and 2 red. It's a creature elemental skeleton. Surprise. It's a 6/1, goodness, with trample and haste. When it deals combat damage to a player, that player discards 2 cards. At the beginning of the end step, you sacrifice it. I like it.
People watching couldn't see the face you made when you said skelemental, but just imagine what stupid face someone would pull when hearing a pun that they liked for the first time, and that was exactly the face she made at me.
That's neat.
Oh, wow.
The first sliver.
This has been a hot box.
It's a mythic, legendary creature sliver. It costs black, blue, white, I said that in the wrong order, red, green. It's a 7/7. It has Cascade, and sliver spells you control have Cascade.
Sliver spells you cast have Cascade.
That's what that says.
Giving it a sliver spells you control would be rubbish. It would do absolutely nothing.
It's just doing its best. Alright, last card. What's it going to be?
I don't know.
Giver of Runes. It's 1 white core cleric. It's a 1/2. You can tap it, and another target creature you control gains protection from colorless or from the color of your choice until end of turn.
It's a not quite as good Mother of Runes. Because it can't target itself.
Ah.
And Mother of Runes, once you untapped with it, was near impossible to kill. So, that box was ridiculous.
That was very good.
So we got, I think, 5 mythics total, including Urza in the first sliver.
Mm-hmm.
We got the Force of Negation.
Mm-hmm.
We got 4 of the rare lands.
Mm-hmm.
We got a foil Snow-Covered Swamp.
We got a foil bear token.
Sure, that is a thing that we got. Yeah, that was an absolutely buster box. We got, what, a sword. There was a Kess with the other mythics, a Sarah.
Yeah?
So yeah, that was one hell of a box. Hopefully the other 5 boxes I open off camera are going to be just as good.
No.
No, they won't be. Because they all came from the same case and there's no way they all have Urza in them. But that was pretty sweet. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. We will definitely be back pretty soon with opening of some more products and some more information videos. We have a lot of Pokemon stuff to open. We have lots of stuff from just other random card games that I've been building up. The A to Z of obscure trading card games should be back hopefully soon, once I can find the stuff for E, where we packed it. But thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and we will see you again soon.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. Check out some more videos right here.
And don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content from DJ Gigabyte.
Gotta catch 'em all!